Feel the speed, the thrill, yeah. High octane drama can't get our fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checker flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed. Lights out, engines roar. Sunday night, we want more. Speed kings racing on the track. Feel the thrill, no turning back. Drivers chase, the trophy gleams. 6 p.m., the race of dreams. Corners tight, they grip and slide. Feel the rush, take it in stride. SKR, we're racing high. Burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more. Pit stops fast, the team's on fire. Chasing down their heart's desire. Highs and lows, we're on the edge. Feel the speed, no time to hedge. Rivalries, the fierce battles fought. Every move, it's match or not. Lightning fast, they glide and weave. All the fans, they can't believe. SKR, we're racing high. Burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more. Rivalries, the fierce battles fought. Every move.
Orlando, mate, you had it rough. Car so slow it was barely enough. Chugging along at the back of the pack, fans yelling, mate, where's your pace at? Year after year you'd smile through the pain, dreaming of glory but stuck in the slow lane. Lando, Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025. F125, but Oscar's in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Orlando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. Now here comes 2025. McLaren's car is straight up alive. Lando's grinning, he's topping the charts, screaming, this beast's got a million parts. But wait a sec, who's that in the other seat? Some Aussie kid who's bringing the heat. Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025, but Oscar's in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Orlando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. Oscar's new, but he's stealing the show. Passing Lando like, mate, let's go. Lando's like, I waited years for this ride. Oscar shrugs, cool story, now step aside. Team radio crackles, Lando behave, but Oscar's too busy catching that wave. Poor Lando thought he'd rule the track, but Oscar's out there, no looking back. Fans love the kid with the cheeky grin. Lando's like, when's my parade gonna begin? Still their mates, they laugh, they jest. McLaren's got two and they're both the best. Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025, but Oscar's in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Lando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. So here's to Lando, still chasing that crown, and Oscar, the rookie who's shaking it down. Two fast mates in a papaya dream. McLaren's laughing, what a chaotic team. Lando, Oscar's got your number, mate. Mercedes shine, Skull and J-Boy, Ferrari's line. From Spielberg to Suzuka's curve, this season's got some serious nerve. Rev up, season 12's here. Racers unite, feel the cheer. From Robin to Blade, they'll steal the show. SKR on fire, let's go, let's go. McLaren speed, Top Gun and Levy, I fulfill the need. Virus and Andries, Williams might, Mr. Beans and Osman racing right. Andre and Muaz, Sauber's call, Morn and Blade, Haas stands tall. Harsh cartoons wild, the track's aligned. 12 rounds of glory, it's race time. Rev up, season 12's here. Racers unite, feel the cheer. From Robin to Blade, they'll steal the show. SKR on fire, let's go, let's go. Montreal kicks off, the season starts. Spielberg and Silverstone steal the heart. Reverse tracks twist, the challenge is near. Champions rise, the end is clear. we're coming for you. Coming for you. Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Out in Canada, a boy named Lance dreamed of racing, he wanted his chance. Signed with Ferrari, their academy's call, but his skills on the track, well, they weren't much at all. His daddy's wallet, it shined like gold, paved the way for stories untold. In F2 with Prima, the cash did flow. Bought the best team and stole the show. Oh, Lance Stroll, riding on dough, cruising in circles, but he's kinda slow. From Ferrari to Williams, he paid for the seat, but spinning and crashing, he can't take the heat. His dad bought a team, Aston Martin's the name. Money keeps Lance in the Formula One game. Williams took him for a hefty price. Daddy's millions made everything nice, but lap after lap he'd spin and he'd stall, couldn't outrun the pay driver call. They showed him the door, said, Lance, you're done, but his dad said, son, we ain't quitting this fun. Bought a racing point, turned it green overnight. Now Lance drives a team built by Daddy's mind. Oh, Lance Stroll, riding on dough, cruising in circles, but he's kinda slow. From Williams to Aston, he's still in the race, but points are as rare as a smile on his face. His dad bought a team, Aston Martin's the name. Money keeps Lance in the Formula One game. He's crashed in Monaco, spun out in Spain, lost it in Silverstone again and again. Teammates like Vettel, they tried to be kind, but Lance left them wondering, who's this guy? The paddock's whispering, they giggle and smirk. Without all that cash, he'd be flipping burgers at work. And now Aston's his playground, he struts with a grin, but the podium's a place he don't often get in. His dad's in the pits with a checkbook in hand, building a legacy on financial quicksand. The fans on the X platform, they roast and they yes. Say, Lance, your talent's a permanent guest, but he keeps on driving no matter the score, cause money's the fuel that opens the door. Lance Stroll, riding on dough, cruising in circles, but he's kinda slow. From Ferrari's dream to Aston's green scene, he's racing with cash, not a championship. His dad bought a team, Aston Martin's the name, but money keeps Lance in the Formula One game. So here's to Lance Stroll with his billionaire flair. He's racing in F1, but the talent's not there. As long as Dad's paying, he'll stay in the fight, driving in circles, but not quite right. Yo, let's raise a glass to the Stroll family plan. Money can't buy skill, but it sure buys a van. Max the Maverick.
He rolls to the grid, eye sharp as a blade. A storm in the cockpit, never afraid. Teammates tremble, they can't keep pace. Max takes the wheel, owns every race. From car to crown, he carved his way. A predator born to slay the day. The records fall, the doubters fade. A legend's forged, the price is paid. Max Verstappen, king of the fight. Burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with a mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more.
is our bond. They tried their best, but Max just laughs, aces the test. He dances through corners, a devil's art. Tears up the field, rips it apart. Red Bull's wings, they used to soar. Now it's Max who evens the score. The car's not prime, the rivals grin, but he still finds a way to win. Max Verstappen, king of the fight, burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with a mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more. Monaco streets, Silverstone rain. He turns the chaos into his gain. A lion's soul, a warrior's creed. Speed's his drug, it's all he needs. They build the walls, he breaks them down. Three-time king still wears the crown. Max Verstappen, king of the fight, burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with the mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more. So raise the flag, let the anthem play. Max the Maverick rules the day. Through grit and guile, he's here to stay. A racing god in every way. The engines roar in Montreal tonight. Season 12 is taking flight. Panda and Nismo lead the pack. Red Bull's back, no looking back. Weeze and Margozzi, Mercedes shine. Skull and J-Boy, Ferrari's line. From Spielberg to Suzuka's curve, the season's got some serious nerve. Rev up, season 12's here. Racers unite, feel the cheer. From Robin to Blade, they'll steal the show. SKR on fire, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Essence bikes, McLaren speed, Top Gun and Levy fulfill the need. Virus and Andries, Williams might, Mr. Beans and Osman racing right. Andre and Muaz, Sauber's call, Morn and Blade, Haas stands tall. Harsh cartoons wild, the track's aligned. 12 rounds of glory, it's race time. Rev up, season 12's here. Racers unite, feel the cheer. From Robin to Blade, they'll steal the show. SKR on fire, let's go, let's go. Montreal kicks off, the season starts. Spielberg and Silverstone steal the heart. Reverse tracks twist, the challenge is near. Champions rise, the end is clear. So here's to the grid, the thrill, the fight. Season 12 burns through the night. Rev up those engines, let's make it true. SKR season 12, we're coming for you. Coming for you. Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Out in Canada, a boy named Lance dreamed of racing, he wanted his chance. Signed with Ferrari, their academy's call, but his skills on the track, well, they weren't much at all. His daddy's wallet, it shined like gold, paved the way for stories untold. In F2 with Prima, the cash did flow, bought the best team and stole the show. Oh, Lance Stroll riding on dough, cruising in circles, but he's kinda slow. From Ferrari to Williams, he paid for the seat, but spinning and crashing, he can't take the heat. His dad bought a team, Aston Martin's the name. Money keeps Lance in the Formula One game. Williams took him for a hefty price. Daddy's millions made everything nice, but lap after lap he'd spin and he'd stall, couldn't outrun the pay driver call. They showed him the door, said, Lance, you're done, but his dad said, son, we ain't quitting this fun. Bought a racing point, turned it green overnight. Now Lance drives a team built by Daddy's mind. Oh, Lance Stroll riding on dough, cruising in circles, but he's kinda slow. From Williams to Aston, he's still in the race, but points are as rare as a smile on his face. His dad bought a team, Aston Martin's the name. Money keeps Lance in the Formula One game. He's crashed in Monaco, spun out in Spain, lost it in Silverstone again and again. Teammates like Vettel, they tried to be kind, but Lance left them wondering, who's this guy? The paddles whispering, they giggle and smirk. Without all that cash, he'd be flipping burgers at work. And now Aston's his playground, he struts with a grin, but the podium's a place he don't often get in. His dad's in the pit with a checkbook in hand, building a legacy on financial quicksand. The fans on the X platform, they roast and they yes, say, Lance, your talent's a permanent guest, but he keeps on driving no matter the score, cause money's the fuel that opens the door. Oh, Lance Stroll riding on dough, cruising in circles, but he's kinda slow. From Ferrari's dream to Aston's green scene, he's racing with cash, not a championship. His dad bought a team, Aston Martin's the name, but money keeps Lance in the Formula One game. So here's to Lance Stroll with his billionaire flair.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. It's been quite some time. We're about to get going again. Of course, tonight it's the start of round 12, rather season 12, round 1, and we're starting in Canada. And what a way to start! Look at that pit lane. It's very, very wet out there. I don't know how that's going to translate to the race. We may very well have a bone dry race. This may be just for qualifying. Of course, 18 drivers on the grid for the season opener. We're missing a duo of drivers. We're missing Andre as well as Skull. Wi-Fi not working over there for them, so we're losing 2 drivers because, well, they share the same residence. They share the same Wi-Fi. So when that goes down, unfortunately, we lose 2. Of course, the circuit here in Montreal needs no introduction. It's been on the calendar for a very, very long time. Of course, built on a man-made island. 14 turns, evenly split, 7 to the right, 7 to the left, and the home of the Wall of Champions. Of course, Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher, Mika Hakkinen, Jacques Villeneuve, as well as Jenson Button, all champions that have met the end of their race against that Wall of Champions. Of course, now, as I've said before on this channel many times, the drivers are going to have more information than me. They'll know if the session is going to improve as time goes on. They'll know if it's only getting worse. I don't think it's getting any worse. I think they're on wet weather tires. Let's just get confirmation of that. There we go, they are all on wet weather tires. There are a few drivers out there on, rather one driver out there on the intermediate. He's actually in the pits. So nobody trying anything too creative for now. Of course, this is not only the introduction of season 12 here on NFR, it's also the introduction of F125. Making its debut here on the channel. Of course, it has been a long break, but we're going to get going again because tonight we've got SKR, and then on Tuesday it's time for SAFRL yet again. No lap times on your screens just yet. All the drivers just circulating the race circuit, getting a feel for the conditions, looking for where the grip is. Of course, drivers will have been practicing this game over the past 3 weeks, giving it a lot of time, putting a lot of time into it. Question is, how much time have they put into it in the rain? This is where mistakes may creep in a session like this. Lap time starting to come in. The first one to come in is Ulrich. Goes quickest with a 29.7, and that's immediately obliterated. A 25.2 by Jonas goes quickest. Then second quickest, Harsh Cartoon. Lap time starting to come in now. We do have one driver out on circuit. It's this one here, the driver in the RB. He's chosen to go out on the intermediate tyre. The rest of the field will be watching that driver's times very, very closely. He has some decent lap times, I assure you. The rest of the field is going to go green very quickly. Tian has since gone quicker. Jonas did that 25.2, and then look at that, absolutely obliterated, 24.6. So lots of time in the circuit. Drivers still looking for that time where they can try their luck. Of course, it's all about confidence in a wet session like this. Worst thing that can happen is in those first few laps, you go out, you push too hard, you find yourself in a barrier, and you start from the rear of the field. That's the last thing you want. You need to get out there, put a lap time down, put a benchmark down, and as the session goes on, just find your confidence. Get a little braver. Start to throw a little bit more at it. Some drivers like the build-up, others like to get out there and throw everything at it straight away. Jonas goes quicker now, 24.6, almost matching the time from Tian, just 600ths of a second. Cover the front row for now. A little further back, Pantry Star is in P3, Levy is in P4, Ulrich P5. And we've had a change because that's Jonas. Jonas has just gone over the line. He sets a lap time of 24.7, good enough for P3. And now Tian with a 23.4. The lap times keep on falling and I can't speak quick enough. So far so good for the Salbert driver Tian in P1 23.4, next best 24.6 by Jonas, so that is a very big gap. But we have been seeing these lap times coming down substantially lap by lap, and that's either the drivers growing in confidence or the track improving just a little. Of course, I'm not one of the drivers out on track, so I can't get a feel for it, but from what I can see, conditions do look slightly better than they were at the start of the session. I wonder if that means we're going to see the intermediate tyre before the end of qualifying. And what does this mean for the race? Will we have a wet race? Canada's always an interesting circuit. Throw some rain at it and it becomes a dangerous circuit. Let me know in the comment section how you guys can hear me. This is the third time I'm using this microphone, so still a bit new to it. We used it for the final round last season, and we used it for the driver draw, or rather the Simulator Cave giveaway that was on the channel about 2 weeks ago. So let me know, can you hear the mic? Is it clear? Are you happy with it? Hopefully you are. Remember, if you haven't subscribed to NFR, remember to subscribe. We're just 7 subscribers away from making it to 1K. Who thought we'd ever get there? We're looking at the Salber of Tian. Of course, 2025 will be the final time we see the Salber name in Formula One. A name that's been prominently in Formula One since 1993. Of course, Salber made its debut at the South African Grand Prix in 1993, and it was powered by a Mercedes-Benz engine. Mercedes, who was making its very first return to Formula One in over 30 years. We know that that engine went on to become the McLaren engine, and then later on Mercedes decided to join as a manufacturer. But it all started with that Merc engine in the back of a Sauber. Was a team that was started on a shoestring budget. Of course, that first race had absolutely no sponsors. It was a black car, just the yellow of the Goodyear tires sticking out and the Mercedes logo on the engine cover, nothing else. And a team that's come a long way since then. In fact, at one stage Andre just saying that the mic is echoing a bit. Let's see if I can sort that out, and if I can't, I'll try to get it sorted out for the next stream. Tian goes even quicker at 122.3 now. That time's coming down and down and down. Jonas 23.2, fastest time 22.3, quite the difference. Wee's currently P3, Pantry Star P4, Spikes P5. Everyone has set a lap time now, with the exception of Sensor Fault, and hopefully he's not missing a lap time because of a sensor fault. He's out there on a set of wet tires looking for his first lap time. Welcome to Visor. Visor saying, "L Mike." How dare you? This mic cost more than my PlayStation. Tian's still the quickest man, 22.3. Then the next best, 22.9. That's Jonas. We've got a caution out on circuit. Fortunately for us, the caution in the game and the caution in real life do not work the same. Of course, every time you'd get a caution in qualifying, it means you would have to ensure you do not improve in that sector or in that lap. Fortunately, in the game, regardless of that yellow flag, you can keep going at top speed. Still waiting for a lap time from Sensor Fault. It's the driver at the rear of the field in the Williams. As things stand, there's no team that is standing out in performance. We have a Sauber, followed by a Mercedes, a Red Bull, a Ferrari, an Aston Martin, and then an Alpine. 6 different manufacturers cover the top 6. No dominant team as of yet. Do we have an Alpine in P6 and P8? So both those Alpines comfortably in the top 10. Of course, we have just the one qualifying session. No Q2, no Q3. This is it. This is what determines your field. And we've got just over 5 minutes remaining. I'm almost certain we're going to get everybody back into the pits, and everyone in this field is going to have a go on the intermediate tyre before this is over. Let's go to the rear of the field and have a look at that Williams. Still no lap time from Sensor. Or is he out on track? There he is. It's a difficult race circuit when you just can't come to terms with it, when you just can't find the right line. Sometimes just running wide in 1 or 2 chicanes that triggers it each and every single lap time. You can't get a lap time down on the board. And as that time ticks down, the pressure mounts. And sometimes causes a terrible snowball effect. Of course, he's about to go up the Casino straight just over 1 kilometer in length. Longest straight on the circuit. But I wonder if he will finish this lap or if he's just going to dive into the pits, put on a set of intermediate tyres, because it definitely looks like the track is going in that direction. He does not complete the lap, he comes into the pits. I think he's going to put a set of intermediate tyres on the car and have another go. Top three will remain in the pits. We have a caution. Disappears as quickly as it appeared. Pantry Star, the quickest man out on track at the moment, at 21.8, and the only driver in the 121s. Next best is Tian, then Wheeze. Got Jonas in P4, Levy in P5, and Harsh Cartoon. Well, he's up in P6. Let's see if I can get some of these new names. Got a Mercedes driver I'm not familiar with. Is that Rhaegar? I'm not sure. Rhaegar, we'll go with that for the time being. Is there anyone else I don't recognize? Trash Legend. I'm not sure if I've commentated on Trash Legend. We've got... Is that Nismo? I think that's Nismo. Keycracker I've commentated on before. And Sensor Fault. That's easy enough. Visor saying, well, P6, wow, and then P7, well, it's down to P8. That's how quickly things can change. That's how quickly things change in qualifying, and things are going to change in a big way, because from what I can see on screen, this track has improved in a big way. There is Pantry Star, just a few drops still falling Definitely still spray coming up from the tyres, so definitely not slicks territory. This should be prime intermediate conditions. Absolutely prime. Harsh cartoon. If you were saying wow about P6, wow about P7, or wow about P8, well, will you have a look at that? Harsh cartoon, 22.8. Those are the effects of a rapidly improving race circuit. 22.8, good enough for P3. Let's make it P4 as Wheeze goes fastest. 20.9. This track's getting quicker and quicker. What you want to do now is hopefully you've got enough fuel in the car to keep going round and round, and you want to be the last man to cross that line because the track is improving from sector to sector. He's still the quickest man, the only driver in the 20s, and he's quickest by quite some margin. Pantry Star in P2, almost a second adrift. 9/10 of a second adrift from the leader, Tian P3. Trash legend. Trash may be in his name, but that is definitely not a trash lap time. 22.4. He'd be starting from the second row. Ooh, that's a car in the wall. Just out of the casino hairpin. What you want to be doing with your final run. Jonas goes quickest, 20.245. And who else has got a little more? This is Tian. He's about to go over the line. Steers clear of the wall of champions. Let's see what he can come up with. Best is fifth, and now P1 19.5. I told you, track is getting better and better. You want to be the last man over the line. Now it's going to be Pantry Star over the line. Let's see what he can come up with. He does not improve. Stays 21.0. Good enough for P4. Who's still coming? Trash Legend doesn't appear to be going very quickly. Lebby doesn't appear to be going very quickly. This is Nismo. Over the line, finishes his session. He's going to stay in P9. Who can still improve? We've got Smurf out on track. Steers clear of that wall of champions. Currently P14, 23.1. And he does improve. He just pips his teammate. Goes up into P6. Very nicely done. And the last man over the line, Key Cracker, unable to improve on that final run. There we have your results for the first qualifying session of Season 12. Let's get through them quickly. Tian P1, then Jonas, going to join him on the front row. They're followed by Wheeze, Pantry Star, Spikes, Smurf, Trash Legend. Then you've got Lebby, I forgot the name, Raingar. Then Nimzo, Ulrich, Harsh Cartoon, Captain Slow, Leaded Sky, Key Cracker, Virus, Top Gun, and the Sensor Fault, who eventually did get a lap time in 25.1. Well, those look like much brighter skies for the race than what we had for qualifying, but there are one or two clouds around that look a little ominous. So the drivers will have a better idea of what's going on, but of course they won't be certain. This weather's on dynamic, which means it will give you an idea of what's happening. You just don't know when it's going to happen. Maybe it will say there's a chance of rain in the race. You don't know when that rain is coming. 5 minutes into the race or 5 laps from the end of the race. or if it's going to come at all. Of course, now drivers will be doing their final preparations. Of course, everything needs to be done by the time you leave the grid. Your strategy, what tyre you're going to start on, are you going to underfuel a little in the anticipation of safety cars or rain? What chances are you going to take? Sometimes winning these races takes a roll of the dice. Sometimes that roll of the dice happens right on the grid before they even get going, before they even see turn one. That victory could be determined or lost by decisions made on the grid. Of course, it was one of the things that made the Michael Schumacher-Ferrari relationship so extremely successful. Sometimes the Ferrari was not the quickest car on the track and they would win anyway due to amazing strategies. And of course, that was between the brains of Michael Schumacher and the brains of Ross Brawn. Why is it saying chat is quiet for the start of the season? Indeed it is. Everybody's starting off slow in the beginning of the season. Everybody's still a little bit asleep. I think we need to get 1 or 2 races into the season to start waking everybody up again. Of course, Death Queen, usually one of the more vocal supporters in the comment section, she's going to be a little bit more quiet than usual tonight because Andre's not in the race and neither is Skull. That does raise the question again, who was going to be racing tonight? Was it going to be Andre or was it going to be Andre's alter ego? Already 1 or 2 predictions coming in for safety car on lap 1. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope the season 12, the new season, the debut of the new season and the debut of this game on NFR don't get us going like that. It would be an interesting start though. Asking for a safety car on lap 1 to spice up the action? It's a little bit too early. We don't even know if there's going to be action. Might have blistering action without the need for a safety car. Of course, I always enjoy a safety car mid-race or towards the end of a race because it makes what looks like was already written in stone, breaks it up, mixes up the pot, and sometimes takes somebody who was at the rear of the field and puts them in a podium position. Of course, if things go straight forward, it's probably going to be a one-stop race. I'm not sure of the race distance. I think it's 35 laps, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Canadian Grand Prix is 70 laps, so this would be 35 as it's a 50% race. And it's a tough one. Of course, part of this circuit is used for traffic during the year, so it can be considered a street circuit. And we get the dual green lights for the first formation lap on F125 here on the NFR channel. Of course, these guys, they have been doing pre-season testing. They have had 3 sessions of pre-season testing. That testing was not broadcast on the channel. Those drivers would have gone about that testing in their own way. Some of them would have been pushing, giving it their all, really going for lap times, qualifying type thing. Others would have been finding their way. They would have been learning this car, learning this game, It may look the same to you on screen, but I assure you, it feels quite different. Andre saying 29 laps, I was close enough. It's going to be a front row start for Tian and Jonas. There's two drivers that have proven time and time again they can be very, very quick. Another one that can be very, very quick. Well, there's a bunch of them. We know Wheeze, he can be really, really quick. Pantry Star, really quick. Spikes on his day can raise the eyebrow. Harsh Cartoon, he's been putting in performances of late. And then there's a few new names around here we don't know enough about. And they might be the ones to pull the surprise out of the bag tonight. As you can see, it's F125 because it's Louis Vuitton all over the circuit. Now the cars line up one final time. Drivers will have been preparing those tyres, preparing those brakes, but now all the attention changes. The attention changes to turn one. Where do I brake? One eye on the mirrors. What are those behind you doing? It's not about who gets into turn one first. It's about who comes out of turn one first. It's 5 red lights, they go out and we get underway. Sauber versus Red Bull into turn 1 for round 1, season 12. What a pass by Wheeze up the inside, caught the Red Bull maybe napping really late on the brakes. Very nicely done by Wheeze. We've got Tian, Wheeze and Jonas. That is your top 3. They're followed by Spikes in P4, Pantry Star P5, he's lost the position. Then we've got I was going to say the 2 Alpines, but one of them has lost the position. Trash Legend P6, Rhaegar P7, Levy P8. And it was that second Alpine that was falling down the field. Second Alpine is Smurf, there he is, he's still going. Did see that caution, but fortunately no safety car call because Smurf is on the move. Lots of smoke there in the background. Driver still trying to come to terms with things. This will be first lap for many with a heavier fuel tank. Death Queen saying, let's go SKR boykies. They're all SKR boykies this time around. This is not the League v League. I think that just means Death Queen is supporting each and every one of you. At least until Andre gets back. 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings going the way of Nismo, and that is just lap 2. Look at that, I was completely wrong and Andre was 35 laps. So I was correct. 35 laps for the race distance. Couldn't remember what I said initially. 35 laps. And when you're getting penalties on lap 2 of those 35 laps, well, that suggests you better start driving within the lines and you better start doing it quickly. Otherwise those penalties are going to amount to a very ugly total before the end of things. Harsh Cartoon. Fantastic qualifying session, looked so good, but now in the race, not having the time of his life. As I say, that makes an overtake, gets one over the Haas driver, Let It Sky, puts himself up into P14, and he'll be looking to make up more ground. Showed he did have pace in qualifying, but of course it's qualifying that you can't read too much into because it was in wet conditions. Maybe Harsh Cartoon Just really likes driving in the wet. We have a car there going slowly. Who was that? Was that Leaded Sky? Somebody was going slowly. We've got a yellow flag, but it disappeared. And Nismo comes the first driver to leave the session. We've got a caution. Hopefully he left the session in an appropriate place, and this will not trigger a safety car. Still have that caution burning on the top left of our screens. Dion, Weeze, Jonas, Spikes, Pantry Star, that is your top 5. Dion sets the fastest lap of the race. If we were doing in-life racing, in real life racing, Dion might have got in a little bit of trouble for that. Setting the fastest lap of the race while the yellow flag was out for half a lap. That means somebody wasn't slowing down. Levy picks up a 3-second time penalty. Well, you just have a look at that. Have a look at your screens. You already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers with penalties next to their names. And this is just lap 4 of 35. We've got such a long way to go. And those drivers already need to start driving a little bit within themselves to make sure that that situation doesn't worsen. Further down the field, Trash Legend. The name does not match the position. Having a fantastic race so far, up in P6. Was riding with his teammate not so long ago, but his teammate, well, his fortunes have changed since then. He has fallen down the field. Rhaegar, the second Mercedes, in P7. Of course, his teammate fighting for the lead in P2 as we speak. Levy, the lead Haas, in P8. Then Keycracker. Ensuring we also have 2 Salbers in the points. And then Ulrich, the Aston Martin driver, taking that final point as things stand. At the front, it's still very much Tian versus Weeze. Jonas has fallen off somewhat. He's 3 seconds adrift from these 2 drivers. Of course, I did add the tires to your screen, so that will give you a better idea of what's going on. Sometimes it can give you an idea of why somebody is going slower than you'd expect. Tian, Weeze, Jonas, you'd expect all 3 of those drivers to be very, very close in pace, because usually they are very, very close in pace. Jonas 3 seconds adrift. It's either because he made a mistake or, well, there we go, he's got the hard tire. He's got the hard tire on. That means everyone around him should have the tire advantage for the time being. That just means the medium tire is going to go off before the hard tire, and when it does, the advantage should swing the other way and the track should start to come to the Red Bull driver. Maybe it's a big lockup. Of course, now we don't know if the drivers are locking up, so that is just a apology in advance to all the drivers. Of course, sometimes we see lockups on the stream that didn't actually happen. Sometimes I talk too much about a particular driver locking up all over the place, and then they text me afterwards to say I didn't lock up anywhere. I'm using assists. If you are one of those drivers who sometimes sends me a text after the race to complain about my commentary, you know who you are. There's a reason I don't commentate on you that much. Tian leads the way. That gap hasn't gotten any bigger, it hasn't gotten any smaller. Well, it can't get any smaller. It's 0.4 of a second. Tian leads the way from the Mercedes. Spikes is in P3, but that gap between the top two and the rest of the field, it is extending. It's now 4.7 seconds. We go back to Jonas. He was the man in P3. Of course, lost another position. Went down to P4. It looks like he's just been able to stabilize things now. He's been able to stay with Spikes. He's been able to match Spikes. Of course, Spikes should have the tyre advantage for now. He's able to just stay behind that Aston Martin until the mediums fall off. Track should then come to him, but it's crucial he doesn't let that 5-second gap get any higher than that. Otherwise, that tyre advantage is going to simply fall away. Visor saying, let's go, Harsh Cartoon Lawson. Harsh Cartoon gets a new nickname. Apparently, Harsh Cartoon and Lawson sharing some of the same issues in the race. Sometimes, occasionally, showing signs of brilliance in qualifying, only for in the race. To only race backwards down the order. Liam Lawson not the only man to have an extremely short Red Bull career. There have been many before him. There have even been some that, well, they got as far as Toro Rosso and didn't last very long. Namely Brendan Hartley. World Endurance Champion, got his opportunity finally with Red Bull, and they didn't give him much of an opportunity, and he was on his way again. Not only has Red Bull cost some driver careers at their senior team, it's happened at their junior team as well as some drivers you've never even heard of. Some drivers that were promised Toro Rosso contracts, only to have those contracts torn up hours before they should have been valid. Tian leads the way from Wheeze, gap just half a second. Spikes in P3, 6.8 seconds is the gap, so that gap is continuing to expand. I said Jonas was able to stay with Spikes, but he had to ensure that gap couldn't get much larger than 5 seconds. It's almost at 7. And Jonas needs to make the move. He has made the move. He's up into P3. And he needs to start making some work of this 7-second gap. He needs to start closing it. As things stand, that tyre advantage is not going to help him if the gap is as large as 7 seconds. Another penalty, this time for Smurf. We'll have a closer look at the penalties a little later on in the race. See who's exactly got what. A little bit difficult to keep track because more than half the field already in that penalties column, and we're not even a third of race distance. Tian leads from Wheeze, from Jonas, from Trash Legend. Somebody's made a pit stop. There we go. Confirmation. Andre letting me know. Rhaegar possibly going for the 2-stop. That is what it looks like. Unless he had some sort of damage on the car that we don't know about. He's come into the pits early. Of course, another thing to consider. Another thing to consider is that this is the Canadian Grand Prix. Parts of this circuit, very classical race circuit, lots of runoff area. Other parts of this circuit, barriers get quite close. So all you need is one of these 17 drivers to make a mistake, give you a late safety car. And all of these strategies, 1 stops, 2 stops, they all go out the window. Andre pointing out Pantry Star as well. You can see now Spikes, he's also made a pit stop. Ulrich, Harsh Cartoon, Smurf. Pit lane getting busy all of a sudden. Tian still leads from Wheeze. Absolutely nothing in it in that gap. Jonas in P3, but he's 7 seconds adrift. I said that gap couldn't get much bigger. It hasn't got much bigger, but unfortunately it hasn't gotten any smaller either. 7.2 seconds the gap between the top two and the rest of the field. Jonas having a lonely race. Those around him have pitted, leaving him all to himself. Should be the best part of the race for him right now. He's got a clean race circuit ahead of him, all the clean air he could ask for, and a set of tyres that the track should be ideal for right now. But he's not making much gain on that 7-second gap, and this is the time he should be closing it. Tian and Wheeze giving us all a show. Almost looks like they're having a demonstration filming day, following each other around the circuit in P1 and 2 all the while. The rest of the field not able to do much about them. Jonas has closed the gap ever so slightly, 0.3 of a second. He's taken out of the lead pairing. Spikes in P4, coming under pressure from Lebby. Of course, Spikes has made a pit stop. Lebby still needs to make a pit stop. Pantry Star in P6. And Key Cracker Virus P8. Sensor Fault. He had a real rough time in qualifying, didn't he? He just couldn't get that lap time. Spent most of the session just circulating the race circuit without being able to set a lap. Eventually did get a lap down. It was only good enough for P18, had to start from the rear of the field. So the fact that he's up into P10, good race so far. He'd love a safety car, get a free pit stop. Means he'd get a free trip into the top 10. The two at the front have not changed, only the order. Wheeze now the car out front. Tian the man in P2. And Jonas, of course, he's too far away to see what's going on between these two, but he'll be hoping. He'll be hoping these two battle. He'll be hoping these two engage. That just increases his chances of being able to catch once they start to distract each other, once they start to go wheel to wheel. Those ultimate lap times, they go out the window. Your concentration goes to your opponent rather than your lap time. And sometimes that just allows the rest of your rivals to catch up. And you're not even really noticing it because you're so much in this battle with your opponent. 6.2 seconds. Jonas is now starting to close the gap. I said the gap was at 7 seconds and he needed to close it and he wasn't closing it, but now it's at 6. So it's either these two interacting a little bit too much, fighting a little bit too much, or it's those mediums. They've officially passed their expiry date. Of course, the leaders have taken the mediums further than anybody else in the field. There's nobody else out there on 13 lap old mediums. Will they come into the pits now? No, they don't. For the time being, it's follow the leader. I think if Tian had come into the pits, Wheeze would have followed him into the pits. Since Tian went one more time around, I think Wheeze has chosen to do the very same thing. But you can see those tyres are going off. Jonas starting to make up a lot of time now. 5.7 seconds is the gap. Time just starting to drop off. Pfizer's saying, is the lockup smoke in F125 worse? I see a lot of lockup smoke. Andre saying it is a lot worse, and the console players can't switch it off. So there we go, you can see a lot of smoke. I think if those were all real lockups, well, nobody would have any tyres left. It would be a complete disaster out there. People would be driving like it was an ice rink. Of course, there's a reason we never race in Montreal in winter, because this place would be an ice rink. Nasty stuff by Tian. Takes out the speed board. Either that was a mistake, or that was a little bit of strategy. Maybe trying to force Wheeze into a mistake when he comes around on the next lap. So Jonas, he came into the pits. He's going to put on a brand new set of tyres. Wheeze, well, rather Tian has come into the pits. He's going to put on a brand new set of tyres. Wheeze has chosen to go one more lap. Is that going to be a mistake? Of course, Tian will come out on those new tyres. They're not going to be up to temperature immediately. It's going to take a lap or two for things to get to where he wants them to be. How much longer will we stretch these tyres? Because surely he's losing time with each and every single lap he does. This is your leader on a set of medium tyres, the only driver to still be on the set of medium tyres he started the race on, and I'm almost certain this time around he will dive into the pits. Depending on the camera angle, it almost looks like they missed the chicane. And there we go, we got some weird footage there, but Wheeze, I assure you, is down the pit lane. He's going to put on a brand new set of tyres. He's going to get back out there. Let's see where he comes out in connection with Tian. Remember, these two were very close together. And it's Tian. Tian is the driver ahead. And I wonder if that was just the one extra lap on the medium tyre. Jonas, attention now turns to him. He's your new leader of the race. Oh, how he'd love a safety car right now. Wouldn't that be fantastic? He just doesn't want to cause it. Drivers in the midfield. He's had a strong race so far. Spent a lot of his race in P6. He's now down to P7. Of course, all of that will be sorted out once everybody's made their pit stop. Jonas still needs to make a pit stop. That's your leader. Driver just ahead of Trash Legend. Lebby, also a driver that needs to make a pit stop. 16 and 17 laps on those tyres. And Wheeze now starting to show the new rubber, the new hard tyres. Quickest lap of the race for the driver in P3. Weiser asking for the penalties. We haven't brought them up so far, so let's bring up the penalties. Let's have a quick read through them. It's lap 18 of 35 and Jonas leads the way. The driver I just mentioned, Jonas, well, let's start with him. 3 seconds apiece for the likes of Jonas, Wheeze, Spikes. We also have 3 seconds for Virus, Captain Slow and Top Gun. Then we go one step up to the 6-second mark. Levy's got 6 seconds, Keycracker's got 6 seconds, as well as Smurf in the 6-second category. Then 9 seconds, if there's just the one driver with the 9-second penalty, that's Leaded Sky. And we go up all the way to 15 seconds, that's for Trash Legend, and then 16 seconds. That's the most penalties out on track, 16 seconds. And that goes the way of Weigar. As I look down, there's another driver on 16 seconds, it's Ulrich. That is a lot of penalties, a lot of working out that needs to be done. And I'm glad the game is going to do most of it. Will you look at that? I believe the right words for this situation are well, well, well. Safety car had to come sometime. It had been a clean race up until now, and we know Canada can be such a tricky race circuit. We have a relatively full grid. When you don't take the penalties into account, it had been a quiet race. But now, this changes a lot. Unfortunately for most of these drivers, the safety car would have come just after their pit window, so most of them will be on relatively fresh tyres anyway. And will you look at that, breaking some carbon fibre on out under a safety car. That's the last time you want to damage your car. It's when you're supposed to be going slowly. 10-second penalty going the way of Trash Legend. Well, well, well. Remember, if you have any form of drive-through penalty, it cannot be served under the safety car. That can only be served once the safety car is finished. And of course, I think he was trying to serve a 10-second penalty because he had 16 seconds. 10 of those would have been for a pit stop infringement. I think he went in trying to get rid of those 10 seconds. And picked himself up another 10 seconds. Of course, if you've been watching Formula 1 for a long time like I have, then you'll remember a character from Venezuela by the name of Pastor Maldonado. In fact, Pastor Maldonado was the last time Williams ever took a victory, and that was in Spain. Not sure when it was. Spain 2012? I think it was 2012. Spain 2012. That was the final victory for Williams. Pastor Maldonado. Usually, sorry Pastor, I doubt you're listening, so I don't care. He was a terrible driver. I might say he was... I can't believe I'm saying this, but I might say he was worse than Stroll. He was worse than Lance Stroll. Instead of having a rich dad, he was sponsored by Venezuela's state-owned oil company, so he wasn't going away anywhere anytime soon, regardless of the fact that he was crashing every second race. Somehow he managed to win that one race for Williams. Nobody knows how. And the reason we got Pastor Maldonado as a topic is because he got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane while serving a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So these things do happen to virtual drivers and pay drivers alike. Some might say they're equally talented. This place was built a long time ago. It was the venue for Gilles Villeneuve's first ever Formula 1 race victory. His first victory came at home in front of 70,000 plus fans, and it made him a legend in Canada, made him a legend of Canadian racing, one of the fastest drivers you'd ever see. Unfortunately for him, once He was in a championship winning car and all the right ingredients were in all the right places. He lost his life, was never able to take his F1 championship, although his son came to Formula 1 in 1996 and he was able to take that championship in 1997. 3 Villeneuves have raced in Formula 1. Gilles Villeneuve, the man this track is named after. Jacques Villeneuve, not the one you're thinking of. Jacques Villeneuve was Gilles Villeneuve's brother. Jacques Villeneuve Sr. And then of course the latest one, Jacques Villeneuve, the commentator that likes to annoy everybody. He won the championship in 97 and he remains Canada's only champion. What do you guys think? Will Stroll be the next? Hopefully the safety car ends real soon. My rambling will begin to annoy the viewers. There we go, Dion from Wies. Have we just encountered our first? Yes, there we go. Safety car finally disappears from our screens. Took a little bit longer than I'm used to, but we are underway. Dion leads from Wies. 0.6 of a second is the gap. Jonas, not sure what happened there at the restart. Looks like those two just got the jump on absolutely everybody. Those two 0.6 of a second, then the rest of the field 3 seconds back. Jonas P3, Spikes P4, Pantry Star P5, Levy P6. And we got the second Red Bull of Virus in P7. Trash Legend. Now on a set of soft tyres. Interesting choice. I don't think those are going to be able to go to the end. Key Cracker P9 and Harsh Cartoon making up the points positions. Pointed it out in the seasons before. Remember, this is about, I think this is the 3rd or 4th season of SKR we've had on this channel. I'd have to go back and look, but I've said it many times before on this channel. The drivers that don't have penalties in a race like this, it is crucial. It is so crucial. If you find yourself this late in the race, well. Safety car yet again. We had such a clean, simple race. 1 safety car, 2 safety cars. We're here again. I was thinking I could end the ramble. Apparently it's going to have to go on a little longer. I think I might have corrected the echo you were hearing, so let me know if that's any better. If it is what I think it is, well, that was pretty dumb. But this is the second safety car. You might have gone to the bathroom, you might have gone to the kitchen to make yourself a cup of tea and thought to yourself, well, this is an awfully long safety car. No, it's not. Last safety car ended. We didn't get very far, and the second safety car commenced. Visor saying it's the commentator's fault. In fact, I did not mention safety cars after that first safety car, so you can't take it on the commentator's curse. It's just not fair, is it? Levy now picks up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. When you see the guys at the back making the mistakes, you feel bad. But when it's the guys at the front, when it's the really fast guys, that's when things get crucial. I said it was crucial for him to stay out of the penalties column. He's picked up a drive-through. Harsh Cartoon joins the penalties column in the form of a drive-through. In fact, we do have a few drive-throughs. We've got Harsh Cartoon on a drive-through. We've also got Top Gun on a drive-through. Reminder to those two drivers, if they are listening to the stream, you cannot serve a drive-through under safety car conditions. If you do try, well, they'll simply park your car, change your tires, send you on your way, and that drive-through will remain next to your name. Andre's saying it sounds better. Well, if I tell you what the problem is, if I tell you what the problem was, you'd probably laugh. It's because my own voice was playing in the commentary box and I couldn't hear it because I had my headphones on. So the echo you was hearing was me, twice. Once my voice, and the second time me listening to my own voice. Fantastic. We're under our second safety car, lap 26 of 35. The drivers at the front, Tian, Weiss and Jonas. No changes in position. Can't be any changes in position under a safety car unless somebody's doing something they're not supposed to. Of course, the only way you can make up positions under a safety car is if that driver in front of you goes off the circuit or chooses to pit. Otherwise, you're just going to have to sit behind him patiently waiting for that restart. Is making a prediction here. Pantry Star could steal this race. Say it again. The drivers with no penalties next to their name. This could prove crucial. This might not be the last safety car we see. We've seen it on this channel. Safety cars right till the end of the race. And if that's the sort of thing that happens, if you have no penalty next to your name, you might be guaranteeing yourself a podium. Or even a victory. I haven't commentated in quite some time, and I think I've got a little bit too excited tonight because I think I might lose my voice. If I do start losing my voice, I do apologise. Start sounding like Toto Wolff, a cross between Toto Wolff and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's not what you want to hear, but well, the voice gets really raspy when it decides to go. Safety car will be in this lap. Means Tian will get another chance to lead this field away. Weiss is going to be in P2, Jonas is going to be in P3. Pfizer saying the race will finish under a safety car. Of course, that is a rule in F1 when it's not safe to finish the race, or when the incident took place on the main straight. You could just finish the race under safety car, but that is something I've never seen in the game. I have seen a one-lap sprint to the end. I've never seen the game leave the safety car on indefinitely. Ash Cartoon, if you're listening, message to Ash Cartoon, you really need to start driving now. We've got a caution, somebody has retired in the background. I think that is Levy. Hopefully it just stays a caution for everyone out on track. It disappears briefly and it comes back. We'll be watching that top screen closely. Hopefully it doesn't evolve into anything else. There's the flash. Hopefully just go away. Let me get my breath. If we don't have another safety car, I may lose my voice before the end of this stream. Tian from Weiss, from Jonas, from Spikes, from Pantry Star. Keep your eyes on the Ferrari driver. He may be down in P5. Might not look like he's threatening for the race lead, but he has no penalties next to his name, and that field has been brought together by that recent safety car. DRS is enabled, and we can get back up to full racing speed. Lap 29 of 35, still some way to go. Of course, we started with 18 drivers, would have been a full field, but we were missing two of our favourite drivers here on the channel, Andre and Skull, sitting this one out. Internet issues forcing them out of this one. Hopefully we'll have them both back on Tuesday night. Of course, this was the debut of SKR Season 12. Debut of SAFRL Season 12. It's coming shortly. Tian's still out front, Wee's still P2. He's had a really good measure of this race. He's led the race, been in P2 for the most of the time, but he's always looked in control. He looked in control in qualifying, he had the pace. And he's looked in control in the race. Rhaegar picks up a 3-second time penalty. They keep on coming. Drivers with 0 penalties next to their name are Tian, Pantry Star, Sensor, Fault, and of course Harsh Khatoon had that drive through which he has since cleared. So no penalties next to his name, but unfortunately he's down in P12. Caution, lap 30 of 35, and well. I think Lando says it best. I think Lando says it best. It's broken. It's broken. So now what does this mean? What does this mean for the race? Of course, this is going to bring the field oh so close together, and by the time this safety car goes in, we're not going to have much time. We're not going to have much time to go racing. Drivers with multiple penalties next to their name, well, they'll be cursing their luck, because this is the worst thing that can happen to you once you've got those loaded penalties next to your name. The only respite for you, if you have a lot of penalties next to your name, is that there's a lot of other drivers with penalties next to their name. So if you tend to be in the lower end of those penalties, 3 seconds, 6 seconds, you might still be safe. But we did see drivers up on 12 and 15 seconds, and that was quite some time ago since we checked. I was saying, why is there a safety car? I would love to tell you. We had a prolonged caution, a prolonged yellow flag. It came, it went, it came a third time, and when it came the third time, it triggered a safety car. Everyone appears to still be out on circuit. thank everybody who has joined the stream tonight. Of course, we've had a bit of a break on this channel. I'm not even sure how long it's been. It's probably been a month, 3 weeks to a month that we haven't had a live race on the channel. Finally come back, we get good viewership. Not a very busy comment section. It's early on in the season. It's a Sunday. Everyone's relaxed. But remember, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go over, subscribe to the channel. We are 7 subscribers away from hitting 1,000. Watching for a safety car to see if it would come in this time round. It does not. Goes over the line. Start one more lap. Lap 33 now of 35. Assuming the safety car will come in at the end of this lap. Means they're going to have lap 34, lap 35. A 2-lap sprint to the end of the race. Welcome to Anita. It's been an enjoyable race to watch. Glad to have you here. Don't see your name in the comment section very often, so if you are new, welcome to NFR. We do this every Sunday. We also do this on a Tuesday night for SAFRL. And if you're a fan of any of these drivers, a lot of them do cross over to Tuesday night as well. No word just yet on League B League Season 3, but when that information does become available, the viewers here on NFR will be the first to know about it. 10-second penalty for somebody. I didn't get to see that name. Safety car will be in this lap. That means when the safety car does come in, the cars will go over the line for their restart, and that'll be lap 34 of 35. A 2-lap sprint to the end. And if you're one of those drivers with no penalties next to his name, a good, strong position is on the cards for you. Just need to make sure those last 2 laps, you get them right. Don't make any silly errors. Don't leave the circuit. And a good result is on the cards for round 1. Let's go. The race starts again. Dion from Wheeze. What a fantastic start by Dion. Gets an 8/10 of a second gap into turn 1. That means he got just a bit of a jump on Wheeze. So important to watch your opponent, be on your toes. The moment he goes, you need to go with him. And Tian just got the slight advantage there. Of course, the leader Tian has no penalties next to his name. So as things stand, not only is he in the lead, he is very much the favourite, because even if he loses that lead, he'll probably go on to win this race. The man down in P4, well, that's the man looking at P2 in this race. Just needs to keep things steady. He's got no penalties next to his name. What we can do is give everyone a reminder of who's got what penalty. 3 seconds apiece for Wheeze, for Jonas, for Virus, as well as 3 seconds further down the field for Spikes. Then we've got the 6 seconds, that is for Smurf, that is for Captain Slow and Ulrich. And then 2 drivers sitting on the 9-second mark, Let It Sky and Rhaegar. DRS is enabled for the final time in this race, for the final lap of the race. We get DRS for the very final lap of the race. Fantastic. Tian versus Wheeze. That has been the show this evening. Will it be the show for the remainder of the season? We don't know. Early days. Some drivers are not here tonight. A very long season still ahead of us. What a way to get things started. 25 points. It's the ideal situation. Something I haven't mentioned in this stream is we're going to have reverse circuits this year at SKR as well as SAFRL. Those are going to be very, very interesting race nights. Taking tracks we all know and making them look unrecognizable. Tian around the chicane for the final time, stays clear of the wall of champions. He's going to go over the line to take P1. Louise will be over the line in P2 and Jonas over the line in P3. And they're able to hold on to those positions. Where are they? Pantry Star steals the podium. Pantry Star P3, Jonas down to P4, then Sensorfault. He goes up to P5. I think he didn't have any penalties next to his name. Virus P6, Harsh Cartoon P7. You've got Smurf in P8, Spikes in P9. And even with those penalties, Leaded Sky was able to hold on to a solitary point. Of course, 2 drivers were not able to make it. That was Andre and Skull. We lost 5 races in the race. Started with 18, finished off with 13. And the driver of the day goes to Leaded Sky. Or was it driver of the day? Let me see. I think it was driver of the day. Jonas has left the session. He's had enough. Or maybe he's on to another race. Who knows? I have no idea what this is. There we go. There's your results one more time. Tian, he took the victory. He started from pole, never looked back. Takes 25 points for the opening round of Season 12. It's the way you want to start things off. Wheeze, P2, he'll be happy with that as a season opener. Pantry Star, P3, could have been worse. Stayed out of the penalties column and got him a good result. Jonas, P4, he'll be disappointed. Picked up that 3-second penalty. Could have been a better result. Then Sensorfault, P5, he'll be happy with that. Started from P18 in the field. Then Virus, P6, Harsh Cartoon, P7. Smurf finished in P9, rather P8. Spikes finished in P9. And Leaded Sky. Leaded Sky was your final point position. Rhaegar finished in P11 outside of the points, as did Ulrich and Captain Slow. Then we had retirements for Top Gun, Lebby, Keycracker, Nismo. And the first one to go, it was not a DNF, it was a disqualification. I can't remember who that was. Who was the last driver to get disqualified? I don't know. I read the name and somehow I forgot the name. Let's see if I can just remember. There we go. Was it Trash Legend? No, it wasn't. Was it Nismo? I think it was Nismo. Well, somebody was disqualified from that race. I'll have to go back on the stream and look, but I probably won't. I want to thank everybody who joined us on this first stream back. Of course, we had a pretty lengthy break, and we're happy to be back. We're happy to get back into the swing of things. And we started here tonight. We got a good crowd. We got some good viewers. And of course, take a break on Monday. We come back on Tuesday, a little bit later than today. Sunday starts at 6. Tuesday starts at 8. And hopefully some of the drivers who had to miss out today or had DNFs today will have another go on Tuesday. Thank you to everybody who joined us for the stream. I'm going to leave a little bit of music playing for a while for you to enjoy, if you will. Thank you to everyone. Remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoy the content. And I will speak with you all real soon. Till then, cheers.
Had it rough. Car so slow it was barely enough. chugging along. At the back of the pack, fans yelling, "Mate, where's your pace at?" Year after year, you'd smile through the pain, dreaming of glory, but stuck in the slow lane. Lando, Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025, but Oscars in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Oh, Lando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. Now here comes 2025. McLaren's car is straight up alive. Lando's grinning, he's topping the charts, screaming, "This beast's got a million parts." But wait a sec, who's that in the other seat? Some Aussie kid who's bringing the heat. Lando, Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025, but Oscars in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Oh, Lando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. Oscar's new, but he's stealing the show. Passing Lando like, "Mate, let's go." Lando's like, "I waited years for this ride." Oscar shrugs, "Cool story, now step aside." Team radio crackles, Lando behave, but Oscar's too busy catching that wave. Poor Lando thought he'd rule the track, but Oscar's out there, no looking back. Fans love the kid with the cheeky grin. Lando's like, "When's my parade gonna begin?" Still their mates, they laugh, they jest. McLaren's got two and they're both the best. Lando, Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025, but Oscars in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Oh, Lando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. So here's to Lando, still chasing that crown, and Oscar, the rookie who's shaking it down. Two fast mates in a papaya dream. McLaren's laughing, what a chaotic team. Oh, Lando, Oscar's got your number, mate. Mercedes shine, Skull and J-Boy, Ferrari's line. From Spielberg to Suzuka's curve, this season's got some serious nerve. Rev up, season 12's here. Racers unite, feel the cheer. From Robin to Blade, they'll steal the show. SKR on fire, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. McLaren speed, Top Gun and Levy, I fulfill the need. Virus and Andries, Williams might, Mr. Beans and Osman racing right. Andre and Muaz, Sauber's call, Morn and Blade, Haas stands tall. Arch cartoons wild, the track's aligned. 12 rounds of glory, it's race time. Rev up, season 12's here. Racers unite, feel the cheer. From Robin to Blade, they'll steal the show. SKR on fire, let's go, let's go. kicks off, the season starts. Spielberg and Silverstone steal the heart. Reverse tracks twist, the challenge is near. Champions rise, the end is clear. So here's to the grid, the thrill, the fight. Season 12 burns through the night. Rev up those engines, let's make it true. SKR Season 12, we're coming for you. Coming for you. Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Out in Canada, a boy named Lance dreamed of racing, he wanted his chance. Signed with Ferrari, their academy's call. But his skills on the track, well, they weren't much at all. His daddy's wallet, it shined like gold, paved the way for stories untold. In F2 with Prima, the cash did flow. Bought the best team and stole the show. Oh, Lance Stroll riding on dough, cruising in circles, but he's kinda slow. From Ferrari to Williams, he paid for the seat, but spinning and crashing, he can't take the heat. His dad bought a team, Aston Martin's the name. Money keeps a Lance in the Formula One game. Williams took him for a hefty price. Daddy's millions made everything nice. But lap after lap, he'd spin and he'd stall. Couldn't outrun the pay driver call. They showed him the door, said, Lance, you're done. But his dad said, son, we ain't quitting this fun. Bought a racing point, turned it green overnight. Now Lance drives a team built by Daddy's mind. Oh, Lance Stroll riding on dough, cruising in circles, but he's kinda slow. From Williams to Aston, he's still in the race, but points are as rare as a smile on his face. His dad bought a team, Aston Martin's the name. Money keeps Lance in the Formula One game. He's crashed in Monaco, spun out in Spain, lost it in Silverstone again and again. Teammates like Vettel, they tried to be kind, but Lance left them wondering, who's this guy? The paddles whispering, they giggle and smirk. Without all that cash, he'd be flipping burgers at work. And now Aston's his playground, he struts with a grin, but the podium's a place he don't often get in. His dad's in the pits with a checkbook in hand, building a legacy on financial quicksand. The fans on the X platform, they roast and they yes. Say, Lance, your talent's a permanent guest, but he keeps on driving no matter the score, cause money's the fuel that opens the door. Lance Stroll riding on dough, cruising in circles, but he's kinda slow. From Ferrari's dream to Aston's green scene, he's racing with cash, not a champion sheen. His dad bought a team, Aston Martin's the name, but money keeps Lance in the Formula One game. So here's to Lance Stroll with his billionaire flair. He's racing in F1, but the talent's not there. As long as Dad's paying, he'll stay in the fight, driving in circles, but not quite right. Yo, let's raise a glass to the Stroll family plan. Money can't buy skill, but it sure buys a van.